Hello everybody and welcome to the fourth time trying to go live today. We are having internet connection problems and I don't know what they are, but because I'm just a chef, a volunteer, and not a technically inclined person, although you would think I was based on my kitchen. So welcome back. We are doing this amazing recipe today. We are doing a smoked chicken, roasted poblano, roasted corn, creamy sauce pasta. It is absolutely going to be delicious and you're going to be amazed at how easy it is. But before I start, I want to take a minute and talk about volunteerism. As many of you know, I'm the Director of Volunteers for Palm Springs Pride, and I'm also a volunteer city commissioner. But for Pride, I help organize and put together 400 volunteers every year for our Palm Springs Pride event, in addition to the 150 volunteers that we use for the Big Gay Barbecue in June. It's one of the things that I have most pride in, and that is bringing together this amazing core group of people who every year work diligently to make sure that our community and our friends have an amazing Pride and Big Gay Barbecue event, June and November every year. Our volunteers work countless hours and we give them a t-shirt and we feed them. But a few months after, we bring them back to an amazing volunteer appreciation event, which I think is the most important event that I put on every single year. And this year, Joe actually is helping with it, along with another volunteer, Janet. And they are organizing this amazing event at the Palm Springs Air Museum. We're going to be in a hangar with all of these vintage classic airplanes. And we're having the escape room come in and do some team building. And we're going to have this great lunch that's being provided by Jimmy John's. And it's just going to be a lot of fun. And then all of our volunteers get to tour the museum after our event. So for those of you that haven't RSVP'd yet, get to it. I sent you an invitation. And for the rest of you, please consider coming if you have the time. It's going to be on a Saturday, and you'll find the invitation on our Facebook group page, Palm Springs Pride. You'll also find the invitations in your inboxes, so have a look for them. But we're going to get to the recipe today. So let me go over the ingredients first. So what we have is, I did some chicken today. I smoked it in my smoker. I then also smoked or roasted the poblano peppers. So poblano peppers look like oblong or rectangular green peppers. And so I just put them into the smoker for about 20 minutes, turned them over until they were nice and charred, and then I put them into a stainless steel bowl with a saran wrap to create a sweat. And what that sweat does is it peels away the skin from the outside of the pepper, leaving you with these beautiful, lovely peppers that are just going to be so delicious because smoking them brings out the flavor. When we're putting this together, we're going to use 1.5 cups of heavy cream. You could use half and half. You could use milk. I used all heavy cream in this particular recipe. You also have a cup of shredded Parmesan cheese, 3 large poblano peppers, which we've roasted and skinned. We've got some cilantro for some little sprinkles on the top when we're done. I've got a can of roasted corn. I've got 1 white onion that we're going to cut up, some salt and some pepper, some lemon juice, about 4 cloves of garlic, some olive oil, and some cream cheese. And then, of course, fresh pasta. So we're going to get started by making how we're going to make our sauce. So I'm going to put our olive oil into our pan, which we've already heated up. And while that finishes heating up, I'm going to move some of these ingredients off to my side for a minute. And we are going to cut up our onion. And since all of those are going into what we're making, I'll just put them all over here and we'll get back to them. All right, so here we've got our onion, just a white onion. And we are going to cut that up. You can use your knife, you can use your mandolin. I love my mandolin. I think it saves my fingers from getting cut. And I also get the benefit of the entire onion getting used. So we're just going to cut that down real quick. These little shreds you can just throw away. And you have this beautiful onion. I have it in slices. If you want to cut it up even finer, just take your knife and go in and just kind of cut up. Super easy. We're going to be browning these onions a little bit, so we'll start with that to get them going. Since I want this to caramelize and I want to get rid of some of the moisture, we're also going to add the salt. Salt pulls the moisture out of the onions and helps with the browning process. Turn this up. And we'll start those going. In the meantime, I've got a pot of boiling water over here. But our pasta will be the last thing that we're going to add in. Since it's fresh pasta, it's only going to take a couple of minutes to cook. Next, we're going to take our poblano peppers, and we're just going to finely cut them up. Now, I've de-seeded them and taken out the stem, and we're just going to cut them up a little bit. It doesn't matter what size you make them, just slice them up. Because at the end of the day, all of this that we're making is going to go into the blender, and it's going to make a delicious creamy sauce. All right, we've got our peppers going, and while that is going, and the onions are browning, I'm going to cut up some of our chicken. Now, like I told you, I do a lot of prep work during the week, so, you know, these happen to have been cooked today. But you could cook these up during the beginning of your week. I like having chicken on hand, and we're going to cut this into small bite-sized pieces because there's nothing worse than fighting with your food, your protein, when it's in your pasta. Now, you don't have to add protein to this. My recipe says it's optional, and it is. You could also add turkey. You could add meat substitutes. There's all kinds of different things you could add, but just put them into little bite-sized pieces. I'm going to do, these are pretty healthy sized breasts, so I'm going to do 2 breasts. If you have hearty eaters in your house, you might do 1 breast per person. And we're going to add this on at the end. So for the smoked chicken, I just used some garlic and some red pepper, and I just olive oil, and I marinated it for a little bit. There you go. Nice chunky chicken. Excuse me, Betty, where do you belong? Over there. Thank you. Darn dog. All right, so we've got our onions that are going. Where did I put my little spatula? There it is. And these are going to brown pretty quickly. As you can see, they're already starting to brown. So you don't need to turn them around a lot. Got a nice little brown on that. We're then going to add our garlic. Oh, it smells so good. Now we're using a white onion for this. You could use a red onion. It's a little sweeter, or you could use a yellow onion. Yellow or white probably is the better because it's a contrast in flavor to the poblano peppers and to the spiciness that we're going to do. Danny? You'll learn one day. Probably not. So look how quick those browned up. So we've got the garlic in here, we've got the onions, and now we're going to add these peppers. And we're going to get those going. You know, one of the other things I'm working on right now with one of our groups, my Leadership Coachella Valley group, is we're putting on this event for kids at the Surf Club coming up in May. And we're bringing 150 kids to the Surf Club, and we're going to have this fun festival and event. And we're going to teach them about wellness and career opportunities and all kinds of different things. And then at the end of the day, 150 kids are going to spend the day at the Surf Club and get to have an entire going down the slides and everything else. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Joe, you were in Leadership Coachella last year.
Yeah, yeah.
You guys did a
We did a VIP prom for people with disabilities.
So they did a disability prom, which was very successful.
Yeah.
You had a lot of people though.
Yeah.
Because you had parents that had to come also.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you doubled, you had like 300 people.
Ish.
Ish. All right. So we're only going to have the kids, the parents don't have to come. And it's a Boys and Girls Club event. So the Boys and Girls Club will take care of all of that, which is really, really nice. So we've got our peppers, our onions, and we're going to put it into our blender. We're going to keep this pan, you don't need to rinse it out because we're going to be putting all of this back into the pan. All right. Turn that down a little. Into this, we're going to add our cream cheese. A little bit of Benny in a minute.
You're Johnson John.
Go. Thank you.
He wants your yummy food.
We're going to put in the cream cheese. We're going to put in our cream. So about 1.5 cups. We're going to put in our pepper, our lemon juice, and that is everything that's going to go into this mixture. And I'm going to start my pasta. That'll only take a couple minutes. And the sauce is going to only take a couple minutes. Probably one of the quickest things we've made here on the show, you know. All right. Excuse the noise. So it looks like kind of like a pesto sauce because of the Poblano peppers that we put in. Oh my God, that is really good. So we're going to put this back into our pan, nice and creamy. It'll start to boil pretty quickly. And then to this, we're going to add our cheese and get that to start melting in. So about 1 cup of Parmesan cheese. You could put a little more, a little less if you wanted to. Let that start going. Now as far as consistency goes, you don't want it to be too watery, you don't want it to be too runny. You want it to be just right. So the way you decide that is really in the thickness. So if it pours off pretty smoothly, you're in good shape, all right? So we've got all of that going. And then we're gonna add the roasted corn. You don't have to add corn, that's just an added thing that I wanted to put in for a little more vegetable and a little bit more crunch. It's just a can. You can, of course, roast your own corn if you really are that adventuresome. Or you can just buy roasted corn in a can or frozen and put it right in. So it adds a little bit more texture to it. All right. And then I need a pan, one more medium bowl. There we go. Pasta is done. Since it's fresh pasta, it only takes a couple minutes. Where's my towel? I'm going to go ahead and drain this. I want to reserve a little bit of the pasta water just for the sauce in case we need to add a little bit to thin the sauce down. So we're going to take this and drain it. There we go. Make sure you drain it well. We're going to put it into our bowl here. Into that, I'm going to add our sauce. Yum. We're going to blend that all together. So this is a good consistency. You can see that it's coating the noodles really well. It's not too thick. And we are almost done. Joe, since we don't have a guest this week, you're going to be the taste tester.
I didn't wear my best clothes.
Ah, he never does. He should always expect to be on the show.
I know.
All right. So we're going to take a little bit of this. We do have a guest here today. Actually, my friend Randy is here. But he is laying on my couch being all lazy and not participating right now. But that's okay. He's 90. He gets tired. All right, so we're going to take some of that. We're going to put a little bit of our chicken right on top. Now, you could put the chicken into the pan and heat it up. I kind of like the kind of cool chicken with the spicy sauce. And we're going to put a little bit of cilantro on top. And there we have it. A complete meal. And how long, Joe?
About 25 minutes.
25 minutes. All right, mister, come on in.
All right, here we go.
Why are you shaking?
Too much coffee at Starbucks. Seriously.
Hot, but then I always say that and he always just thinks about it. Good?
Oh, I can taste the poblano.
Is that delicious?
Yeah, very good.
All right, now you can go back to your camera.
All right. I'm taking this with me.
Take that with you. All right, well, as you can see, that was a super easy recipe. Now, of course, I spent some time smoking the chicken and I spent some time roasting the peppers. But I did that all at the same time on my smoker, so about a half hour on the smoker. So not a lot of prep time. Everything else was pretty simple measurements. And voila, in one pan, you have a roasted chicken, roasted corn poblano pasta that is super healthy, super easy to make, and something that is sure to become one of your family's favorites. So that about does it for our show today. Super quick, super easy, and I want to thank you all for following us. We just went over our 12,000 viewers. So we're doing so well with all of you. I hope that you'll keep sharing this content out to your friends, out to your foodie community. And as always, I look forward to seeing you back here on Neighbors Cooking next week. Have a great week. Bye.